Alright, so we actually have some news today as far as Nexus Prime. So, I think a few days ago I made a video speculating on how I think this guy has a torso. I was right. I was not right about how he could be configured because I mentioned those little tabs being like part of the shoulder. That's not the case. I'm not quite sure how this guy works. Also, I learned that the head is apparently in the cockpit, not in the torso. But yeah, we have the first look at the combined form, and I'll play Mark's video here from Instagram. Using a mixture of the Combaticons and the aerial bots, we have the look at the torso, and it looks incomplete. Like, it doesn't look bad per se, but it really looks like he's like missing his own team. One of the interesting things I find about him is that I actually am surprised how well Brawl looks compared to one of Superion's legs, because they don't look like that like mismatch. I would have thought Brawl would have been a lot more thicker, given the design and whatnot, but because Onslaught's like combiner part is a little bit thinner, Brawl kind of makes up for the rest and it kind of evens out. So, if they decide to go the route of like a Nexus Prime with kind of like limbs similar to the original one, although the tank one's on the arm and like the helicopter's on the leg, which we don't technically have that because well, Lou plays, but like the helicopter we have is Vortex, which is an arm, and Brawl is a leg. So I don't know exactly how they're gonna do this, but what has me a little bit concerned is that I learned recently some updates on some leaked listings. So I mentioned how there were two listings. I wasn't sure what they were. Whoops, camera focus. There's a second commander here. I learned that this is actually Armada. Sorry, my camera's not being weird. Okay, focus. This commander listing is actually for Armada Jetfire, which doesn't surprise me. But this combiner multi-pack is actually the Monstructor that is supposed to be from that Legend Scale Volcanicus. At least that's what I've heard so far. So that's kind of unfortunate. So that means that when are we gonna get the rest of the limbs for Nexus Prime? Are we gonna get a full scattershot / Computron situation? Where again they released scattershot earlier and then they release a whole Computron set later. Because they're not doing anything this year as far as I'm aware, based on the listing. So we might have to wait a while for like the rest of Nexus Prime. And if we're waiting a while, that might mean they might re-release it in a box set. So I guess we'll see.